Oh, oh. It's a lonely, lonely world it is. In an abyss of a tear, a lonely world for you and me. So it really comes down to what the red pill means to people, man. Taking that red pill, seeing reality for what it is, casting off all of this fakery. There's a lot of it out there. What do you see for yourselves in this world? It's amazing how you have, politicians on both sides of the aisle. There's only two parties, of course. Everything else is a joke. This one lied, you lied, he lied, they all lie. Of course they lie. Humans lie. It's part of it. Kids lie. First little reaction of a kid is to cover up what they do with a lie. Why did you do that? I didn't do it. I didn't do it. But you know you did it. And you hear yourself telling the lie that comes out of your mouth. You know it's, I did it. So what would happen if you say you did it? I did it. Yeah, I did it. And I'd do it again if I could. That's what I think. Be in your brashness of honesty. I think that would scare the crap out of people. I think if politicians started being honest, people would be like, "Wait a minute, you said what about who about what?" Well, yeah, you've been duped, you've been stooped and snooped, you've been bamboozled, you've been distracted, you've been just kind of hammered down into a steak, one of those thin little steaks you roll up and cooked and eaten because you're part of the machine. You're the food for the machine, as a matter of fact. So you take the red pill. What does that do? It allows you to see stuff how it is, and then you make your own decisions from there on in. It just don't get persuaded by the flowery trappings of life because there's nothing substantial in there unless you want that. I'm a big believer to let people do what they do as long as they don't hurt anybody, you know? So if you're happy being a dupe, then be a dupe. Sometimes people are happy being a dupe, dupe, dupe. You know what a dupe, dupe, dupe is? They come from the city. Hey, dupe, dupe, dupe. Like, it's like a guy who's kind of there. And he's like, very yep. Dupe, dupe, dupe. What's wrong with being the family guy with the kids on the vacation, with the trip with the wife and whatever? Some people would think it's stifling. Some people would think that's strangulation of their very freedom. But others will look at that as that's their total freedom, that they go out and they get to partake with people that they love and go and do. So basically, my friend Bill back in the day summed it up best, saying that there's a seat for every ass. And I believe that. So, but then there's the machine. Now, the machine wants you to obey. They want you to do things how they want you to do. They don't want you to be an individual. Man, you try that shit in school. Oh boy, they try to suppress you. You get rewarded for being part of the team. You get rewarded for learning how to push that button. But if you're an individual, you want to grow beyond that, you get pushed out. You're the black sheep. Yeah, black sheep. They got a name for it, don't they? And those people get pushed to the side. Those people get cast out of what that normal bit of society would look down on because you don't fit in to their groups, right? In my school, we had a lot of groups, man. We had the metalheads. You had the black folks. They hung out. They had a we had a we had a picnic bench for every group outside in a line, and every group. So you had like Spanish clique, black clique. You got the metalheads. You got the A crowd. all that. Me, I kind of floated to everybody's table and chilled out. I had friends in all groups. I didn't really look at or think about it in any other different way, you know? And I was a metalhead type of dude too. I had long hair, whatever, but I had my own. I don't really partake in group stuff necessarily, but that's the division of society right there, not the melting together. You know, you're not part of a team, you're part of the machine. And all these groups look at each other as others and not as people that should be, you know, like as part of what they're all about, connected, man, because we are all connected. But the machine doesn't want you to be connected. The machine wants you to be divided. So I mean, school, work, same stuff. In school, you have a teacher. Work, you have a supervisor or a boss. You know, and it really comes down to structured levels of society to have the machine function, right? And then they want you to be smart enough to push the button, but dumb enough not to ask questions because questions are dangerous. And it's not like there's anything you can do about it anyway. You know, if you want to upset the apple cart is all about money. Money, 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 money. Money is power. Power is money. Money rules people. People, you go to work, you work what? You work a couple hours. That third hour goes right to the government for you to pay the system. Well, you got to pay some taxes. We need to keep the system going, right? The machine needs to keep eating, needs to keep going. Oh, yeah. Not for the crappy roads I drive down every day that nobody ever fixes for years now. And you can't say it's COVID because it was pre-COVID and it'll be post-COVID. Those roads are getting worse. They don't care. They want you to destroy your car because then you're going to go into a repair shop and get ripped off. They're going to look at you and see you coming. So there's not a lot of security and confidence, you know, out there in our society. And I think that it's a damn shame that people have lost that. And I don't think it's something that you can get back. It's like virginity, you know. Once it's gone, it's gone. And you can say you're a virgin. Yeah, there was like born again virgins back in the day, they moved to a different town and say, "Hi, I've never been. You're my first." Yeah. Uh huh. So yeah, that's people, man. You can't hate them for it. You just have to try to understand it. Or if you want it around you, you don't want toxic people in your life, keep them out of your life. That's part of the red pill. It'll show you the manipulation. It'll show you, yeah, the manipulation of television. Look at it. What? It's only processed pixels. It's not the image you're looking at is not even real. It's just little bits and dots arranged as a mosaic to represent something they want you to see. It's not even real. It's not even a factual recreation, you know? It's a computer generated recreation, right? So how do you know that all of life isn't like that? You know, how do you know it's just the screens that we have? We certainly have a lot of screens. I've got 3 right in front of me right now. I'm not even looking at any of them. I'm staring at the ceiling. I'm staring at the ceiling fan going. Foof, 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 foof. Yep, Angley lost it. That's it. That's it. Call Dr. Phil, give him his address. Yeah, a little bit Dr. Phil in your life. Maybe everybody needs Dr. Phil. No, they don't. I was watching Dave Chappelle. I love Dave Chappelle as a comedian. I love I love Dave Chappelle before before and the Dave Chappelle now is a very different beast. I get what he's saying. He talks about the machine too. You know, in his version, it's more about uh, the media machine that he engaged in, and how they basically used and abused him and took him for a ride or whatever, used his talents and abilities to make a ton of money, stuff in their pockets where he didn't get much himself, that type of thing. Whatever, man. That's his bad business deal. You know, those people are always going to be out there, Dave. I love you, by the way. Love you. You brighten me up on cloudy days, man. And I appreciate that. But you got to understand it's about people. One, you can call them out, what horrible people they are, but they don't give a shit because people. If you think that they do, you're still deluded. You're still in the world of that naive, hey, I believe that these people are going to be good one day and do the right thing. If you want people to be good one day, they're not going to be good one day. The people who are good will be good. The people who aren't good aren't going to be good. The ones who aren't good aren't going to become good, because it doesn't work like that. And let me tell you, you can pray, you can have hope. I hope. I have so much hope. Hope, hope, hope. Hope means nothing. Means nothing. 100% nothing. It does nothing. It's just a way of shifting something off of your own responsibility of what you should be going out there and doing. So if you hope that people do the right thing around you, they will not. They will not, and you will be sorely disappointed in that whole episode. But like, I saw the episode, with the interview with Oprah Winfrey, right? And Oprah is a monster. She's Godzilla. You think Oprah makes bad business deals? Oh my God. She rip your guts out. She's a machine in of herself. She's like, teeth and claws and saws. Oprah. Sexy, isn't it? Sexy all day long. That kind of, wow. She had Dave Chappelle on her show, and she was like, well, you have to control all the people around you, and it's your decisions is what you do. Because he wigged out and like he went to Africa. Like, he took off. He didn't tell his wife, by the way, or his kids. He took off, went to Africa, and he wanted to go to a place where nobody knew him. I think that the guy just, he was in it young. The megalomania from the business, and the popularity alone has got to be pretty staggering when you go from just Joe Schmo to this megastar. I mean, this is Dave Chappelle, megastar. Now he does these little. It's not comedy. It's like he's in an AA meeting for Hollywood, and he's kind of just sitting there with his cigarette and his microphone, or he's vaping or whatever the hell he does now. And he's very much the same dude that before. I don't know what's changed, other than the fact that he had a heavy dose of reality, but he's still griping like it matters. It doesn't matter. And life isn't fair. And it's just what you make of it is what it is. It's that simple. Where you end up is what you make of it, And there's people out there who don't care about you. That's something that we all have to recognize, and the more that you think that they do, the more that they don't. Or the more that you think that you're going to shift things around with prayer, you're going to pray. It doesn't work. You know what I mean? You're more likely to go out there and create. You can create something from nothing, and look at the car outside your house if you have a car. Look at the chair you're sitting in if you're sitting in a chair. Whatever you got, look at your computer. Look at the ceiling fan going fluff, 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 fluff. All of these things were ideas at one time that were created from nothing. These were ideas. These are something that existed inside of people. And because of those ideas and because of their own physicalness, they were able to create these things. No matter how intricate of design, they were able to create these things. You can make the same case for all of nature, since there's so many things in nature that are designed so intricately that there would be some idea at some point, some kind of idea. But anyway, I look at politics, man, and this whole Joe Biden thing. Now it's on. Now it's on the other side. Like, now it's the conservatives who are aghast and they can't believe this dude and whatever. Trump is back there somewhere. I hear him. I hear he's back there. I know he's banned off everything. Is he still banned off of Twitter? They took his Twitter away, man. That's just, I know that, it's wrong to do because, you say, oh, the president was the president of the United States of America when this happened, but on the other side, he's pretty fruity, kooky, all that. But now I just feel like we're back to square one. It's, you're going to see this country go into an unbelievable recession. People are already gearing up for it. It's already starting. You can't just print money and throw it out the window like that. And COVID has taken a huge chunk, not just because of not just the government. Let me tell you, a lot of these people in the government failed to see this. If the guy out there working his full-time job, making his halfway decent money, supporting himself and maybe his family, kids, or whatever, his community, right? That guy loses his job because of COVID, like millions and millions of others. And that guy was unemployed for 10 or 11 months, a year or more, right? Because still people haven't come back yet. Offices probably won't. There's things that will change forever because of COVID that are learned from this disaster of how really to economize for these companies. Corporations are all about the bottom line. They're bean counters. If you think they're there to love you, they're not. Again, they don't care. They just care that they got a warm body in there and they can do what they do. Other than that, it's about the profit and the bottom line, and the shareholders is more what they care about. The other stuff, not. Okay, they only care about the other stuff if it gets in the way of the money making. So if you want to get their attention, it's all about the money, right? So, but when I hear these people talk, and especially now with the economy the way it is, and the people who are unemployed for a year, who maybe have gotten some unemployment or whatever, and in much of the case, it's a joke. 180 bucks, $200 a week is not going to support you and your family, or even you. I mean, it was ridiculous. So, what do you do for all those people? And what do you do for all those people and their bills? What about the landlords that they owe rent to? What about payments, other payments, car payments, anything that they're in the rears of? What about all of that? How do those people get rescued from that? You know what the answer is? You don't. You're on your own. The government, they already showed you that, hey, we can wait 6 months to give you a measly $1,400. They acted like it was a gift from God. $1,400. That doesn't even pay for the yearly increase on fuel of what's going on now. That fuel already went up like $1 where I am since Biden's taken over. He's blaming Trump. And that's the thing. Blame. I don't make excuses for other people. And I don't blame other people for my own mess up. If I mess up, I'm happy to tell you I messed up. In fact, I love to do it, man, because I learned from those experiences. It's not something to hide from. People make mistakes, and God made me perfect. It says that in the Bible. I'll use that in court. God made me perfect in his own image. So you can't blame me for being me. Blame God for making such a beautiful creation, man. That's what I'm saying. Thank you kindly. Thank you. But life goes on. You have people you love dearly in your life. They die. They want you to feel bad. They want you to go on and be successful and be everything that you can be to make them happy, right? Your happiness makes them happy. But then the loss of someone, that void, I lost my mom 2 weeks ago. That void, man, can't believe it. As a matter of fact, very hard to wrap my head around it. Try hard, just working through it, working my normal job. Got other stuff going on, and auditioning for a show. Also, like all these things that are happening, and yeah, and then there's times you just want to break down, and I do. I did. I did tonight. There's times that you hit the ground because you can't believe it. But so what do we have in life? I mean, we have just the people that are with us, who love us, who we love. That especially if you can get that unconditional love. I had my mom in my life for 54 years. It was unconditional love, and a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people don't get to experience that. So I find, like, I really feel I'm very lucky in that I had that for such a length of time, and I still have her love. It hasn't gone away. So you know all these wisdom quotes. I have a lot of deep, loving friends, man. You never really know until something terrible happens, or maybe but the outpouring of just support and love, incredible. And a lot of deep spiritual friends. A lot of my friends would describe themselves as spiritual, not religious. And I'll tell you, I appreciate every bit of it, including the prayers. I'm not so big on prayers these days, I gotta tell you. Not so big on hope either. I think those are concepts that are kind of like by chance winning the lottery. I mean, maybe you can get into that realm of energy where things go for you or don't go for you or whatever. I don't know, man. Fortune and misfortune can be looked at in either direction as each other. I think that you just live your life. That's the luck of the draw. You know what I mean? Who knows why you get cancer? I mean, my mom didn't smoke, didn't drink, was always healthy, always into health food stores. I mean, we go to health food stores when I was a kid. She always cooked healthy stuff. I mean, never not. And, we walked and whatever. I mean, just, 6 weeks ago, she was on her little bicycle and treadmill, man, in the living room, 79 years old, going at it. And 6 weeks later, she's gone. And that's life. And you have to enjoy life, and find some kind of happiness, and don't let people ruin it. So, and it doesn't matter where, it just matters that, right? Because there are people out there that love to ruin things for you. There are lots of them. They're part of that machine. So when Biden falls on his ass again, I'll be like, oh, yeah, I actually feel bad. You know what? I don't have any ill will towards most people, and I don't get into that viciousness of politics like a lot of other hosts. On radios, podcasts, television. I see people out there just really passionately getting vicious when it comes to this back and forth. And to me, it's pointless and useless. I don't find any worth in it. There's nothing I can learn from it. There's nothing that it can help me in any way possible to be part of something like that. And if someone's looking at me with anger about something that has nothing to do with me, 100%, you support some political candidate or whatever. If I support somebody else, it has nothing to do with the person that you are. It just has whatever you're supporting is what you do, man. I mean, but there's people out there that would disagree 100% and say, oh, if you support Trump, you're a Nazi. And then you have people calling, people that you don't even know are Nazis. You're a Nazi. Do you know what a Nazi is? I mean, do you know what a Nazi is? I mean, oh my God. But okay. But that's what's interesting. It's a very human thing. because that's what people use to describe the most horrific, horrible type of person that there is a Nazi. You're a Nazi. Nazi. And before Nazi, I don't know. They referred Attila the Hun. Whatever, man. I don't know. Before that, but I mean every 100 years you have these horrible slayers that come out. Every 100 years you have plagues that destroy a chunk of the earth. Every 100 years you have natural disasters that geo-shape the world. So it just seems to be those markers. It seems to be a rhythm and a pattern of markers. And we've gotten past, so to speak, even though we haven't yet, the virus. We're in the midst of it, right? We haven't gotten past it. We're not in the beginning of it. We're in the midst of it. And what we do, we United States, because if you look at other countries, man, it's very, 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 very different. You look at India, and they're doing mass graves right now, and the virus is ravaging their country. Same for Brazil. And as this is happening, this virus is learning, it's adapting, it's mutating, and then those mutations are become different strains that are unbelievably dangerous, more dangerous than the original. In fact, the original is gone. You know that the original COVID, that was like the original Coke, man. Yeah, I miss those days. That was good Coke. You couldn't even drink a Coke. It was burn your mouth and your throat going down. Coke. Ice cold Coke on a 95-degree day at the beach, man, in a bottle. Pow, that original Coke and that feeling. And then they decided that, okay, well, we want people to drink it faster, so we're going to take some of the fizz out. And they came out with new Coke. Now, it was all the rage. Not really. The company told you it was all the rage, and they lied. They just wanted you, everyone's talking about new Coke. No, they weren't. They weren't talking about it. These ads were talking about it. Everyone's going to try the new Coke. It's like their Jedi mind trick. It's okay. You can try the new Coke. You want the new Coke. I want the new Coke. Have the new Coke. Then people hated it, right? Then they switched to Pepsi because Pepsi was kind of the same all along, and they came back with classic Coke. Then all the flavors: cherry Coke, vanilla Coke. I don't like any of that stuff. To me, it's toxic waste. I like that original Coke, and since I can't get it, you just can't get it. Sometimes those Mexican stuff scares me. I just have to say that. I'm putting it out there. I don't care if it sounds ignorant. It scares me. Scares me. Because I don't know. There's a lot of not knowing with Mexican stuff, man. They, especially if they hate us, and I don't know. When it comes to food, I have fears and worries and paranoia. So yep. So anyways, but that's it, man. That's these companies. They don't care about you. They care about if you spend your money on their crap. It's all about marketing and branding. Look at the vitamin water. Vitamin water? Really? Vitamin water. And it's not even like good water. It's filtered tap water, and they put vitamins in it and coloring to make it seem like it's more vitamin-y, I guess. Got to have that vitamin water, right? Got to hydrate. You're going to die. Die a horrible, dry death. Die like a chunk of beef jerky on the highway. Dead. Morta. I better drink my vitamin water. You'll be dead. And it turns out, I watch Shark Tank once in a while, and like this guy on there who is the brain behind vitamin water plus armor, body armor. Now, body armor is another thing, because I thought it was underwear. And then all of a sudden I start seeing like drinks. And underwear and drinks with me They just don't go together, man. There's just something about the two of them that just don't even sit on the same planet for me. Not even in the same solar system, man. Underwear and drinks. Okay. So, but yeah, I don't buy anything called Under Armour. I don't buy any drink. I don't buy Life Water. I don't buy Smart Water. I did buy Smart Water, and I didn't feel any smarter after I drank it. I felt gypped, but it wasn't tasty. I know. You know what? There's a certain water I drink. I'm not going to say the name because they would have to pay me to advertise. Because they should pay me to advertise because of all the people that listen to the show would go out and buy their water probably if I like it so much. But it's spring water. It's good. It's from the Northeast of the United States. You know, it has just a clean, fresh taste to it. Nothing nasty about it. It's not special. It's not some high-end thing. I get a whole case of it. What I got? 36 bottles for $8, man. You can't go wrong. Or you buy a gallon for $1.50, that type of thing. I'll tell you though, I like it. I like it, and it's a treat to me because I'm a water person. You know, my mom, she was into that other water, high end Fiji, right? I will say their name because I'm not advertising, and it's just to me another marketing ploy. I mean, and when it comes to water, you got to look at the numbers between acidic and alkaline. You want something that's like in the middle. You don't want water too alkaline. You don't want water too acidic, man. You want something in the middle, right? Maybe a little bit on the alkaline side. So whatever. The stuff that I drink falls right within that realm, and I don't have to pay a fortune for it. But it's marketing. Walk into any convenience store, any convenience gas station. It's all colorful, all lights, and it's like glitzy, and it kind of just hits you and whatever. And there's like two things I drink, man. I drink water and I drink coffee, right? And I use good water to make coffee. I use good coffee grinds to make coffee. I don't cheapen out. I don't drink gas station coffee. I don't eat gas station pizza. Gas station coffee is it's like, why bother, man? Why bother being disappointed? You know, and you absolutely know it's going to be disappointing. Sometimes even like you know what, like a really good breakfast restaurant will have really good breakfast coffee. But sometimes, like recently, I ate at this restaurant and the coffee smelled good. And when they poured it into the cup, it looked like tea. It looked so light. Now, my coffee could stand up on its own and walk away. It could get up. You pour my coffee, that sucker's going to get up, get on a motorcycle, and ride out of town. Boom. Is that your coffee just left town? Yeah. Just pour me another cup. Freaking coffee. That's strong. That's what you want. Strong. Not this weak, you know? So that's why I like people in Europe so much, man. We get along. We like strong coffee. If you go anywhere in Europe, you're going to have good coffee, man. Probably you're not going to have bad coffee. But in the States here, especially, and I've talked to people in gas stations that say they use the coffee grinds 3 times. That the boss tells them use it 3 times. 3 times. That's just ripping people off right there. But I think if you go and grab that cup, you know what you're going to get. You know exactly. You know exactly. It's going to just taste like hot water and just a tinge of brown. You know, like. Ugh, that's what I'm saying. And we let them get away with it because people go in there and they buy it, or they're brainwashed, or they just pour so much sugar and other crap in there that it doesn't matter to them, you know. But then there was this place in Pennsylvania that I was going through recently, and it's called Sheets, and they sell pizza. Another place that said the woman's like, "We make the best pizza you'll ever have." Why do you disrespect me with that sentence? Do you think, look at me, look at me. Do you think that in my 54 years of existence as planet, uh, being part Italian, especially loving pizza, living on Long Island and Brooklyn and Bronx and New York City, the best pizza you can find, and going across the country and having pizza, going back and forth, up and down, left and right. You really think that I'm going to have the best pizza ever at some freaking gas station called Sheets? So, and I don't buy pizza from gas stations. Sorry to disappoint you, man. And they had like all the specialties, buffalo. They did this and whatever. And it's like that's not even a pizza. That's like an open faced sub to me. That's a whole different animal. But anyway, what they did have that I liked though were these coffee machines that were kind of push buttony. It had a screen, and then it asks you what kind of coffee you want, how strong you want it, and it allows you to grind your own beans and select your own type of coffee. It had like 4 or 5 different beans, and I have a thing, like I don't like ground coffee that's ground with a grinder that was used for flavored beans because it's disgusting and that taste gets into your nice natural coffee. You know what I mean? So that too. Yeah. And I was able to kind of manipulate the machine and bloop, 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 bloop. And I had exactly the perfect cup of coffee made. I'd love to buy one and have it in my house. I love it. Love it. But yeah, another place that had all the glitz and the glamour and whatever. And if you just want to drink, it's like there's so much to choose from, but yet there's not. I mean, how many different ways can you do lemonade? Or, or you got your Gatorade. If I'm going to hydrate, I'm not going to do it with Gatorade. I'm going to do it with coconut water. And I'll tell you why. Because it's good. And that's my reason. It's natural. It's low in calories. It's not loaded with sugar or crap or whatever. The other stuff, it's just more of the same with these corporations. They're trying to just pour it down your throat, and it's like there's sewer water. Come on, man. Nothing in nature even looks like it that you want to drink. Do you want to drink what in nature has that color green of Gatorade? It's like some swamp water, man. You want to drink some swamp water? Hey, my pond used to look like that when it wasn't treated. You want some pond water? Ooh, it's got electrolytes. Yeah, it's got all kinds of bugs and bird poop, whatever you can think of. It's all in there. 100% natural. Want some? Of course not. You don't want that stuff. Some little bits and pieces of floating in there. No, but people want to think what they're drinking is like some kind of super drink, and there is no miracle fruit juice. I have a friend, Marlo. He does that to me all the time. He's like, come on, man, check it out, dude. Crazy Jamaican dude. He's like, yo, man. He's like, he turned me on to, what the hell is that? Mangosteen. We went through a craze of mangosteen. And, he used to, and I had an antique store, so he would come and eat lunch with me every day, and we'd hang out, he'd hang out at the store, that type of stuff, because there's a lot of people coming and going. There's always a fun, antique store is always a fun conversation going on, because people are there reminiscing, and they're usually about good memories, no one's in there having bad memories in an antique store. You want to move those bad memory people out the door, you know what I mean? But, I can't believe you sell that whooping stick. I remember my girlfriend had one up in Canada, man. Every day with a whooping stick. All right, take that outside, dude. Take that back to Toronto. I don't want to hear it. But yeah, man. So we got into this mangosteen thing. And he's like, dudes, like, do this, give you superpowers. I was like, the only thing it's doing is me paying $120 for 4 bottles, and it's easy to drink. It tasted good. I'll give you that. It didn't have just mangosteen in there. It had like cherry juice and other stuff. I mean, it was quality, but each bottle is $25. Now, I'm not cheap in the world of cheap. If I think something's worth it, I'm happy to buy it. And especially if something that you're going to have some kind of cool health benefit or whatever. And there are people buying bottles of water with vitamins in it, right? The mangosteen blows that away. Now you can get mangosteen, dried fruit, and ground up and whatever. It's not like this is a while ago, so now it's like all over the place. But I'll tell you though, it, if you're treating yourself and you want to treat yourself right, there's nothing wrong with that, man. But there's no miracle fruit juice. There's no fruit juice that's going to cure anything in you anyway. It's about juice. Let's say you are 12 years old. You start juicing fruit and vegetables, and you got a juicer for your birthday, right? You're doing your little business, juicing your fruit. Those health benefits will follow you forever as long as you keep doing that. But let's say you're 65 and you've got cancer, stage 4 cancer. Juicing fruit is not going to stop what's happening to you. You know, I mean, maybe there's alternative methods that you can seek out. I know that there is, because I've seen what chemotherapy does. From the time my mom was diagnosed to the time that she died, it was 3.5 years. In that 3.5 years, she fought a brave battle against cancer. It was painful. It was hard. She had a lot of bad days, I'll tell you, and not a lot of good days. The only thing that brightened up her life was the family she had around her, and then the job that she still worked full time at a school in administration. And these are the things that were important, to her. So I don't know, but we'd be in that cancer suite, and I look at those other people, and you just feel it. You just feel it, man, that they're being eaten alive by this horrible thing. And here comes COVID, and here comes warp speed, and then you got vaccines for COVID, and everybody's got to get inoculated, and then these are cancer drugs to begin with. Why can't they cure cancer then? It's a virus. I don't know, man. There's a lot of unanswered questions, and then those questions will never get answered. There's things that we'll never know the answer to, or we already do deep inside of ourselves. We know the answer, but it's more important to take that red pill. It's more important to understand, and then, yeah, it's a red pill. It's kind of just a metaphor, obviously, for opening your eyes, and seeing things, and fighting, man. You got to fight for everything in this world, every little tiny thing, and never assume that someone's going to do the right thing, or some business is going to do the right thing, or whatever. You got to make for certain everything is known, and fight for every little bit that you can for you, for yourself, your children, your family around you. When it comes to doctors, lawyers, schools, whatever the hell you got to do, because there's a lot of it out there. Humans love to complicate things, and they adore giving you crap, causing you trouble and pain. Some people get off on it. I've seen it. And it's ugly. God doesn't like ugly. And it's like, you just have to keep going forward. You just have to keep going, keeping your eye on the prize. If I could give anybody out there any advice in the world at all, I would just say, don't. Yeah, don't. So just keep that in mind. Don't. Whatever it is, you're gonna don't. Whatever you're thinking, don't. You're gonna get married, don't. You're gonna have kids, don't. You see this commercial? It's one of those credit commercials, like credit score commercial, right? There's companies that say, hey, sign up with us and we'll lower or raise your credit score. It's easy to lower your credit score, raise, because that's all people are worth these days is what you're worth, your credit score, right? It determines what you're going to pay on what level. So there's this dude who walks out to this really crappy car in a parking lot, and he's looking at his phone, and here's this credit score commercial on his phone or the app, right? And he clicks it once, and the car turns into like a nicer car. He clicks it again, then it turns into like a really nice convertible, slick looking, and it had like a baby seat in the back. And then he looked at the baby seat and he kind of winced his eyes and he shook his head no, and he clicked it again, and the baby seat flew out of the back and turned into a mountain bike on the back of his like convertible. Man, I thought that was so cool, and just like right there in your face, of what that's something that can apply itself to a lot of dudes these days on what they want for themselves. It's a scary world out there. I talk to a lot of young guys in my travels, man. Not really. People work in supermarkets. That's the extent of my travel. You work in a supermarket, I'll be talking to you. But because with COVID and whatever, it's just so weird that people are just kind of no one's around each other anymore anyway. But young guys are afraid, man. They're afraid of getting involved in these long-term relationships, marriage, whatever. College guys, they're afraid to date girls at their colleges because they don't want something to be said or insinuated or allegations ruin their life. And you see so much of that. But what's going to happen ultimately? I mean, offices now are trying to separate the sexes. How do you even do that? Then they get called out for doing that in the first place. But then, people are have all these frivolous lawsuits, or they say there's sexual harassment in the workplace when there wasn't, and things like that, and when you cry wolf enough times, it hurts everybody else who actually do suffer and actually do have these things that they're going through personally. So I don't know. Whatever happens, people want it to happen. Just remember that. Otherwise, it wouldn't be happening. And every event is inevitable. With that, I will bid you adieu, man. I'll be out there in the universe, traveling out there throughout the world. Catch me in Dubai. Catch me in Spain. Catch me in Moscow. Catch me in Botswana. Catch me if you can. I'll see you guys next week on this here show on United Public Radio Network. UPRNTalkRadio.com, 107.5, sold to Joe Montaldo.